Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 12th. It is 6:24 right now. We have market opening up in about 6 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Let me go and send this link out to you guys here in the premium. All right, link is sent out. As people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Let's see, 4 hour. So the 1 hour. Down to the 30 minute. Down to the 15. Down to the 10. And back down to the 1 minute here. All right, looks good. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 12th. It is 6:27 right now. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. We got market opening up in about 3 minutes. Marked up liquidity over here. As you guys can see, there's a ton of liquidity down below. So if price does come back below this area, it might come down and knock out all this lower level liquidity here. But we'll see what happens. The ATR is currently at 15 right now, so it's a little bit more elevated compared to where it was last week. Last week, it was around 10, if not lower. We have a lot of tariff news that's coming out this week with regard to China and UK and stuff like that. Let's see this news here. This is a top news for today. So it says the Dow futures rocket higher than 1,100 points after US China agreed to cut tariffs. So US futures jumped as US and China agreed to temporarily slash tariffs following negotiations over the weekend in Switzerland. So that's what's causing the bullish push right here to the upside. Obviously we'll kind of see what happens here when market actually opens up. Let's see what's here so far. Morning, David. Morning, Justin. I'll check your message right now, William. It's a pretty long message you sent. I'll check it for you. See what else is here so far. Morning, morning, Ben. Morning, Stephen. Morning, Christian. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Lila. Morning, guys. Okay, let's see. So for the breakout for today, guys, it's looking like it's going to be a buy. So if anybody's looking to take the breakout, it is going to be a buy today. Hey, Sam, morning. Let's see, William's asking, hey, Sean, hope you're doing good. I'm not sure about this rule. I've been flipping for the past 6 days, meaning 50 days. I think that's going to violate your consistency rule because they still have a consistency rule with that. Yeah. I mean, you can message Apex, but I'm sure they have a consistency rule like every other prop firm. So you can't be flipping trades like that. You can't be making like $1,000 one day and then making like $50 another day until payout. You got to have it consistent. Hey, Tarek, morning. Morning, Siobhan. All right, guys, we got market opening up shortly right here in about 6 seconds. Breakout for today is going to be a buy if anybody's looking to take it. And there we go. Price is all over the place. Again, market is now open, guys. So we got this spike right here. Price pushed up a bit. So it looks like the breakout already hit full TP right there, guys, if anybody decided to take it. Shot up right there for 50 points immediately on open. So there goes the breakout for full TP. If anybody decided to take that, I'll just put this over here in the chat for anybody who's been following it. But there goes the breakout. Big spike right there on open. We'll keep following to see if anything else here comes up, but there goes the breakout to kick off the week. All right, let's take a look at the confluences here. Looking over here at the market profile. So over here on the market profile, we don't have any rejections right now off the 1 minute. Looking at the 30-minute over here, we don't really have any rejections here either unless price pushes back up. Then we'll have that rejection off that bottom end. Looking over here on the 1 hour, we have a rejection off the top end. So the market profile here is a little bit mixed. 1 minute, there's nothing here. 30-minute, there's nothing here. But if price pushes up, it'll get a bottom rejection. 1 hour, we do have a top rejection right here. Looking at the volume profile, we have an upwards rejection right here off the point of control. Clean chart, we have rejections off the top end. And SR chart. All right, we got to draw some new support and resistance. There's nothing over here. SR chart over here. Like we got some tight zones here. All right, so looking at the support and resistance, we have an upwards rejection too. So sells are looking pretty okay here. If we do get a possible sell entry, we got liquidity here that just got knocked out. I'll take that one off. We got a sell signal here. So this is a possible MPSV2 setting up for a sell. The only problem here is that these candles are pretty big. Adjust the ATR a little bit for now because we are getting this pretty heavy move on open. ATR is currently 36 right now. I have my TP stop loss set to 30, so this is gonna be a little tricky here if anybody's looking to take it. MPSV2 setting up for a sell right here. If this ends up closing below this black line, looks like it could be a fake out, liquidity grab right there and push back to the upside, or if it comes down lower, possibly a drop lower. So this is a break and retest right here off liquidity. Yeah, it was a break past structure here, retest of the liquidity zone, and a continuation to the bottom end possibly. So if it closes below this black line, this is going to be an MPSV2 or a sell. I don't know if anybody's looking to take that there. It's kind of early in the session, so I want to be careful with this Crazy volatility. So it has to close below this black line here for it to be an entry for MPSV2. Did not close below it, so no entry there. Let's take a look at the confluences again. There's nothing here on the 1 minute. There's nothing here on the 30 minute. There's a rejection here on the 1 hour. Volume profile, we do have rejection here off the point of control. Clean chart, we have rejection here off the whole number, 42,400. Let's see. Support resistance, we have a rejection right here off the support turn resistance. So there are confluences there for a sell. It's just a little tricky right here where it's currently moving right now. If you guys are looking, it's again, we need it to close below this black line right here because that's where the momentum's at. But you guys can see how the price action is per candle here. Price kind of comes down, fakes out, pulls back above, comes up here, retest, pulls back below. Yeah, we have about 8 seconds left on this candle, but you can see how the price action here is kind of going back and forth. So it's got to close below here, and it's got to for sure close below here. And there goes the MPSV2. It's currently running right now in profit. I wasn't able to get into that trade. I was going to look at it, but the last few seconds of this candle here was kind of tricky because it was up here and it just came down here at the last second. So MPSV2 is currently running right here. I'm not in this position. I'm just kind of following it at the moment. The ATR is currently at 34. I have it set to 30.30. This might have to be pushed up a little higher, maybe like something like 40.40 for today because the volatility is a little higher. But I am following it here. Not in the position, but I'm following it. It's kind of tricky. There's a decent amount of confluences, but it's not like it's not as clean as I would like. Like I would like something here on the 1 minute market profile, and I'd like something here on the 30-minute market profile. We just don't have that there. So there is an MPSV2 running here. I wouldn't consider it a super clean entry, but it's an entry nonetheless. So we're just following it here. I'm not in it. Let's take this off because I don't want you guys to think that I'm in it. So I wasn't in the position there. Like I said, the market here is moving kind of crazy. It's very choppy, right? Like this entry here was a very last second entry. This thing was up here. Like you can see the big wick from the candle up here at the entry. It was way up here and then it came down at the last second. So we don't really want to trade in this choppy type market. This is kind of what got us in trouble last week because the market was ranging and it was going back and forth and fake outs within the liquidity zones. So I don't, obviously this is not some area that I'd like to play in. I lost a trade like this last week. So I'm taking it a little easy. We talked about this last week. It's just the first couple minutes of market open, it's usually kind of crazy. Last week, it wasn't as crazy on open. It was more kind of slow. But this is how it was about 2 weeks ago, like first week of May. So not really looking to take anything here yet. Again, I'm going to take it easy. Today's Monday as well. So Monday, Fridays are usually like the riskier days to trade because you get like a lot of this craziness back and forth movement. Plus the tariff news is positive. So I was actually hoping that we would get some buy entries here because of the tariff news. Another breaking news right here says Dow surges more than 1,000 points. Same thing. It's just Dow surges more than 1,000 points after US and China agreed to tariff cuts. So let's see what the update is here. Yeah, so this update about 2 minutes ago says stocks opened higher on Monday with investors' appetite for risk growing following a cooling of trade tensions between US and China. Bassett said he expects to meet with China again in the next few weeks. So see here, price is pushing up. This is what I was more inclined to take. I'd rather take buys here than sells because the news in the market is indicating that the buys here are going to be more likely, or they're not likely, but they're going to be more directional in that area. Because everything here is kind of pointing towards a buy. I think here's just a retracement. So when price started coming down right here, this was just a retracement from London session. Like I said earlier, price kind of pushed up. There's a bunch of liquidity sitting right here, retraced down a little bit. Now it's coming back up. So I'll reset my analysis for possible buys in a few. We have a possible buy entry setting up here. We have a buy signal. Price is pushing up. We're going to look for that retracement and continuation up higher. So let's take a look at the confluences again. We still don't have anything here on the 1 minute. We might be able to get something here if price breaks and retests off this point of control. So that might set up in a bit. 30-minute, we now have that rejection off the bottom that I was talking about earlier. So now we have a 30-minute market profile rejection. So here's where it becomes a little tricky because we have to kind of go between these two. There's either going to be a 1 hour rejection off the top end, or there's going to be a 30-minute rejection off the bottom end. So they're like opposite confluences here. This here is confluence for a buy. This here is a confluence for a sell. There's nothing here on the 1 minute, but it looks like there may be on this candle here. So that break and retest off the point of control that I just mentioned is starting to set up here. If we get that, if we do get that, we'll get a confluence here on the 1 minute, confluence on the 30-minute point of control right here. I'm going to look for the same thing, break and retest off the point of control. Clean chart over here. We don't have anything here yet, but price may break and retest off this level. Actually, we do have something here. Rejection off this bottom end, 42,300. And then possibly break and retest right there. Looking over here at the support resistance. Looks like we might have something right here as well. Break and retest off the resistance. All right, we're getting like a hard retracement right here. If an entry sets up here for an MPSV2, this is going to be a bit tricky because we're going to be right at the opening price. It's going to be a red flag. So I'm not sure if we'll get it set up here. I'm going to put the sellers in control from this point up here. Buyers in control from right here. So I'm mainly looking for buys here. Okay, so we got price pushing back up. This is a good sign. And this candle closed red. So this is a possible entry here setting up for an MPSV2, guys. I'll be looking to take this here if it closes as a good green candle. Can't be too big though. I think this is good size. All right, it might be a little too big. If this candle is too big, I'm not going to take it because it might have to retrace a bit. All right, confluence is here on the 1 minute market profile, rejection off the point of control, rejection here off the 30-minute, nothing on the 1 hour, rejection right here off the volume profile, rejection right here off the clean chart, and break and retest right there off the support resistance. So I'll be looking to take this here for a buy if it closes green. This is going to be an MPSV2. This can't close too big. And I was closing about 1, 2, 3, and I'm in the position right there. Let's see, so entries right here, 30. Might have to adjust this a little bit. It's at 29.
Order filled.
Panel was a little big right there. So like I said earlier, it might be a little tricky because of the because when the candle's big, it has to retrace, and right there it's retracing a little bit. Let's see, the ATR is currently at 36. I think my TP stop loss might be a little too tight.
Order filled.
Let's see.
Order filled.
Still in the position. I might get stopped out here. My stop loss is a little tight. I got stopped out, unfortunately. All right, not the way I wanted to start the week, but I got stopped out right there. The ATR is currently at 35, so I think my stop might have been a little too tight on this trade. But it's okay. I mean, it looks like it probably would have lost at 35 too. Looks like we're still in a choppy market, unfortunately. Not exactly the market that I want to be trading in, but it is what it is. Took my loss right there, and I wouldn't be surprised if this here pushes back up from where it's at. I'm like thinking if I should have left my TP stop loss at 40.40. No, it's okay. Well, I took the loss on that one. It's all good. See, I wouldn't be surprised if this here pushes all the way back up from where it's at. ATR is currently at 36. Let me adjust this back to 14. I'll leave it at 14 for now. All right, anyways, took a loss on that trade, guys. Unfortunately, starting off this week with a loss, not exactly where I want it to be, but it is what it is. Just one of those days, one of those months, really. This whole month of May has kind of been different with the market conditions here. So choppiness on that. It was a good trade though. So regardless of the fact the trade was good, confluences were there. We had the rejection off the 1 minute market profile, rejection right there off the 30-minute, nothing on the 1 hour, volume profile rejected right there off the whole number, and break and retest here off the support. It's just market's choppy right now. So it doesn't really matter which direction you're trading in, buys or sells, you can easily get caught in the chop here. So unfortunately, take a loss right there. I'm going to go and mark up a range here because it looks like, I mean, again, it looks like price is in a range. So let me mark up a zone right here. It's basically the same thing we were stuck in last week. It's like, it looks like price, well, it looks like price should be pushing up, but it doesn't. It just ends up ranging. Price action sucks. Direction sucks. I mean, it's pretty much just in this range. So here's the range here that I marked up. So prices, this is kind of the meat of the market right here, guys. Price is sitting within this range right here. And what happens is whenever price pushes out of it, it just fakes out. So price pushed out of it right here, faked out, pulled back below, price pushed below right here, faked out, push right above. And here we are back in this area. All right, so I took my one loss for the day. I'm going to keep looking for entries, but I'm not going to be taking any more entries here on my end because obviously that's my rule. One loss and I'm out. This prevents me from trading on tilt. It also prevents me from blowing my accounts. So I'll keep looking for opportunities for entry here. There's a possible MPSV2 setting up for a sell, but again, like I just said earlier, there's a market is stuck in this range here, guys. So like with market being stuck in this range, you got to be really careful about your entries if they go outside of the range. So if we do get an MPSV2 for a sell down here, it's going to be stuck within this range, of course. One thing that I did notice is the high-low momentum scalps are hitting though, which is the ranging strategy that we tend to apply. So for example, right here, we had a buy signal that pushed up. This candle broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2. And this was a high-low momentum scalp for a buy. And then same with this one over here as well. Buy signal broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2. MPSV2 or high-low momentum scalp. So the sideways strategies are hitting right now. If this is one that you guys like to apply, I know there's a couple people here who tend to look at those. I know Daniel looks at it and CJ. I don't typically look for sideways strategies. I'm always like more so geared towards directional entries. So I'm not really looking at them, but I'm just looking at the charts here. There's pretty much every high-low momentum scalp that's come up has hit. This one right here, sell signal broke past pivots 1 and 2. So if that's something that you guys are looking for, I mean, feel free to look at them. I'm not going to take them, sticking to the MPSV2, not really changing much of my my trading plan at all. Just sticking to it, trying to get through this chop. Hopefully we'll start to get some of a directional market. I was hoping today was going to be one of those days where the market was just going to be directional because of the tariff news, but it's not looking like it. We're still stuck in this sideways market. All right, yeah, Christian's done for the day. So Christian said, "Have a good day, have a good day, guys. Don't want to get FOMO." So Christian also is following my trading plan. One loss and he's done. So we'll see if we find something else here. We have a sell signal. We have a possible retracement candle right here. If a red candle comes up after this could be a possible MPSV2 entry. However, there's going to be a lot of red flags around this area. We have the sessions right here, and prices also, if you do get a sell entry here, it's going to push out of this lower range. Yeah, Nick said he's out too. We'll hang out for the session though. Yeah, I mean, it's still good to hang out and then see how the market moves, right? Because this is going to give clues to how the market will move tomorrow. So if we see a continuous range, like if we see price having trouble getting out of this area, then we could probably expect this to be the same case tomorrow. I mean, this whole week might just be another ranging week. It's just the beginning of the week, guys, so there's no need to go crazy in the market. I know some of you guys might try to FOMO or you guys might try to overtrade, revenge trade. There's no need for that, right? Because the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a deeper hole where it's going to be harder to get out of later this week. So I'm okay with one loss. One loss is fine. I can make it back tomorrow. I can make it back the day after. We still got 4 trading days this week. So not in a rush. I don't feel any pressure right now to force anything. All right, so no sell entry right there, guys. We never got that red candle. We have a buy signal here that's currently pending. If this buy signal closes, we may have possible opportunity for MPSV2 to the upside. Same problem though. Same thing that we got into right here. Same issue is that we might get a fake out. All right, so the MPSV2 actually came up right here, guys, for a sell. So you guys can see, if you guys look at the price action, it's a very tricky market, right? Because, for example, we hit a buy signal here, and it looked like that buy signal was going to close, but at the last 5 seconds, price came down super sharply and then closed right here at the sessions. Not in this position right here. There's an MPSV2, but like I said, it's right at the sessions. So this is a red flag. So it's not one that I would personally be looking to take. However, there's still an MPSV2 currently running here nonetheless. I've lowered my TP stop loss to 30.30, so it's not, I mean, I'm not taking as big of a hit as I was last week because I was going for 40 points. So not in this position here again, guys. I'm just following it. I'll take that off because I don't want you guys to think that I'm in the position. Yeah, what Glenn said too much wicks on both sides. Let's see. Nick said he's been doing 31.29, which actually helps quite a bit. Nice. Yeah, that actually makes sense. So Nick's actually been doing a 31.29 TP stop loss. That helps because it gives you a little more profit to cover commissions and fees. And then a tighter stop loss as well to cover commissions and fees in the other direction if it ends up hitting, stop. Solange said might range the whole session and trap news traders. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like I wasn't expecting there to be a range today. I thought price was going to move directional because of the tariff news. Like for example, right here when price came down, I was like, okay, because initially I did see the range here because you can see the range was established at 6 o'clock and then right here pre-market. But I figured, okay, if price comes below here, then it'll just keep dropping, right? Or if it comes back up, it'll correct and go back up this way. But that just wasn't the case. Price here is really just respecting the range. It's in this area that I drew. So again, right here, price is pushed up at the upper end of the range. We'll see here if it fakes out and pulls back below again. Yep. So you can see right there, price again is bouncing off the range. Let me check the news for today. So we got Fed Kugler speaking at 7:25, and then we have the New York Fed Treasury purchases 4 to 6 years at 7:30, which is low impact. So the Fed's going to speak in about uh 30 minutes or so. But there wasn't really much news this morning. Or I mean, there was news from the weekend, but not from this morning specifically. All right. So again, there's still nothing really going on here. As you guys can see, prices, it's just sitting within this range. And there we go. This price comes back down. There's no entry here for a buy. Um, Price basically came up, buy signal, retracement, no continuation back to the upside. So I think what I might do, guys, for tomorrow specifically, is I'm just gonna mark up the range before market even opens up. So yeah, because if I marked up this range earlier, we probably would have seen that price would have been ranging. The only thing is like I wasn't expecting a range today, especially after everything that happened over the weekend with all the trade deal agreements. So it is what it is, but I'm gonna mark this up now. I'm gonna try to look up the range pre-market. So we have an idea if price does range, we'll know exactly where not to trade. Like for example, here, this would have been spotted that okay, this might be a risky area because it's at the upper range. I drew this range from this upper green candle right here. This upper green candle. Usually I'd go for the body, but made it a little bigger. And there we go. So if I was to take everything off the chart, you guys can see here that the range is pretty obvious, right? It started from right here, price pulled below, retested, came below, faked out, faked out, faked out, faked out, faked out, and then faked out again right here. So we might get another possible bounce off this point and push back up into the range. Yeah, the directional entries aren't going to work very well. I think, if a lot of people are looking for these break and retests, I'm not sure if you're looking for break and retest right now, Sam, but it looks like all the break and retests that would have happened off structure would have lost. Like the one over here that we looked at earlier. This looked like a really good break and retest, Sam. I'm not sure if you took this one below. This is one that we looked for price to come below. It retested the gap. The gap lined up with the zone right here. So this looked like it could have been a good sell, but obviously it didn't play through. Same with this up here. Price broke structure. It retested off the opening price. So this is why, and let me show you real quick. This is why I thought this buy entry was also a good one. Because look at how price broke and retest off the opening price. Price shot up, retested, and that was our entry right there for the MPSV2. I was like, okay, perfect. If that's the case, it's going to push right through. But it didn't. It ended up coming down. So just something to keep in mind. Kenny said Trump is speaking. Thanks, Kenny, for the heads up. Let me look up the YouTube video right now. All right, Trump is speaking right now. Thanks, Kenny, for the heads up.
me, the biggest thing that came out of that meeting is they've agreed, now we have to get it papered, but they've agreed to open up China. That'll be great for everybody. And third, I'm very happy to announce that Edan Alexander, an American citizen who until recently most thought was no longer living, thought was dead, is going to be released in about 2 hours, actually. And he's going to be released before the eyes of Steve Whitcock, who's done a fantastic job. I know a lot of people that have a lot of talent. I know Steve has a lot of talent.
Speaking.
But I know a lot of people.
I'm gonna post that link in the chat if anybody wants to look at it. It's not necessary, but if you guys want to look at it, I'll just post it up there. So we'll see if we get some directional moves after that. I don't think so. I guess we'll see. All right, so not really much happening. I mean, Trump's speaking right now, but it's still not really much happening. Price is still respecting the range that I drew. So I drew this range pre-market. It started right here at 609, and then the upper range right here at 627. Market opened up right here at 630. It's been respecting it ever since. Price pushed up right here, faked out, pushed below here, faked out, pushed up, faked out, fake out there, and then another fake out right here. There was no entry for MPSV2 for a buy, and there is no entry for MPSV2 here for a sell. It's just, like I said, price is just going back and forth between these ranges here. Anytime price gets below this point or near it, it just fakes out and pushes back up. Let's see where we're at. All right, so no sell entry there. There's no buy entry here, no sell entry here. Now a buy entry for this current buy signal is starting to set up. We have a buy signal here, possible push to the upside. Again, same thing that we've been talking about. I mean, price might just keep ranging within this area. We have a buy signal retracement. If this ends up pushing back up further, this could be a possible entry for MPSV2 for a buy. But as you guys can see here from the setup, it's just not a good day to trade, guys. I think today in general, the loss that I took earlier, that was a fair loss. The setup was there. There was confluences. You can see here that pretty much every entry here is tricky. There's not really a good setup here or anything that's really lining up as like what I would consider, a good entry. There hasn't even been an entry ever since. So, I mean, there was a sell entry that came up right here, but again, same thing at the lower range. Otherwise, there's no other entries that set up. You guys can see the choppiness, a lot of big wicks per candle. There's no direction. Typically, you don't like to trade in a sideways market like this, right? We want to trade in a market that's pushing directional. So you want to push in a market that's going upwards like this, or in the opposite direction, downwards like this. I mean, it's just not really too much here. See, Sam said 42,273 liquidity sweep and watching 42,460 break and retest for a buy. Okay. So 42,273. Okay. So yeah, so basically Sam is looking for liquidity sweep down here at my lower level. Or he's looking for a break and retest above at 42 460 for okay, yeah. So basically my outer range is right here. So Sam is looking either for a liquidity sweep at this level right here. Basically pull down, grab liquidity, and fake out back above. Or he's looking for a break and retest off my upper level right here. Yeah, I think that's a good enough range right there. That's probably a good. Your mind's in the right place, Sam. Because the thing is, like, I wouldn't trade within this middle area. So, like, since your entries are a little farther out, I think that's pretty solid. It looks like you might not even get an entry today, Sam, because I don't know if price will break out of this range. Again, I drew this range pre-market, so this was established before market opened up, and price here is respecting it pretty consistently. I'm gonna step away for 1 second real quick. All right, guys, I'm back. Nothing going on. So there we go. As price pushes back up from that lower range. So again, if this pushes up past this momentum signal right here, this could be a possible MPS V2 for a buy. I mean, it's a choppy market. If you look over here at the market profile, I mean, you can see how choppy the market is here. So if you look at the market profile, this range is actually bigger. So I'm looking at this here now and see how price kind of pushed above and away from this area. This is actually, so this range has been going on since about 3 o'clock this morning. Interesting. Yeah, let me zoom out of this 32. Huh, interesting. So you can see over here, if I zoomed out of this here, you can probably see that price was actually not doing anything for, like, we could have seen that the market was going to range to get to, it's been ranging pretty much all day. So looking over here, basically from 3 o'clock this morning, basically 4 hours ago, it's been going sideways. So the 30-minute right here, price broke into this range and it's kind of just been sitting within this area. Even on the 1 hour, nothing's going on. On the 1 minute over here, it's a little more obvious because you can see how price pulls into this range here and it kind of just stays within this area. So I think what I'm going to do tomorrow morning is I'm going to do an analysis of the range. I mean, typically we don't really have to do that, but we've been in a ranging market for a pretty long while, so I think it's best to have an idea. Even the volume profile over here, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, price has been within a range literally all day from 3 o'clock up until now for the past 4 hours. Clean chart here, you can see it as well. So I'd say the range is between this part like that. Because I think if we were more aware that the price is probably going to, well, the thing is, I don't think this was really even possible to predict the market was going to range because there was so much news that happened over the weekend. Like even here on the support resistance chart, you can see this range here. It doesn't matter which analysis you're doing. If you're doing support resistance analysis, you can see there's a range here. If you're doing a clean chart analysis, you can see there's a range right there as well. Market profile is probably the easiest and most identifiable range. But yeah, I mean, if that's the case, not really too much we can do here. Just gotta wait for price to break out of the range. Yeah, Solange said, "Come on, Trump, get us out of this range." Is he still speaking? Let's see. I'm surprised Price isn't really pushing too much. I mean, Trump is still speaking, and we're not really seeing Price really go anywhere. It's still kind of just sitting within the range here. So the price action, I mean, the market's not really reacting to whatever Trump is saying. It's kind of just staying where it's been. Next to the reversals off momentum are frequent today. Yeah, I noticed that too. Basically, whenever you get a momentum signal, price just ends up pulling the other way. Buy signal, other way, sell signal, other way, buy signal, other way. Literally every momentum here, price just kind of goes the other way. Because it tries to stay within the range. So like whenever price gets a momentum signal outside the range or close to it, it pushes the other way. Or if it pushes it down this middle area, it just pulls right back. It's tough. And again, right here, price still hasn't gone out of this lower range. Price push below, and then it fakes out right back above. Next to that, I remember the market always pushing during his first term speaking. Yeah, same here. When Trump was first president, the first term, market, was super, super volatile, if you guys remember that. It was super volatile, super directional, like the whole year, or the whole 4 years, actually. Whenever he spoke, there was like volatility push in that area. For today, there's like, it's weird because, I mean, you can see the chat. If you look at the chat here, when Trump's speaking, everyone's kind of like trolling with like, calling direction of price and stuff like that. But there's really nothing going on here. It's still stuck within this middle area. So again, right here, like I said, it doesn't really matter which direction you're trading in, whether you're trading a buy or a sell. You can get wiped out of these positions pretty easily, no matter the direction, because we're in a pretty tight range right now. Not really tight range, but it's respecting the range pretty tightly. Like we don't really get as many fake outs down below, right? Because what happens a lot of times when we have this range is price will push outside the box and then it'll come back in, or it'll push above the box and then it'll come back in, right? Over here, it's actually respecting it to the T. Let's see. Sam is asking Sean, with the China UK deal, trade deal, where do you see why I'm going? I see it going up. Well, I mean, that's what I was inclined to see because it's good for the market, right? If the trade deals are going through and the tariffs are coming down, then it would be good for the market. So I'd expect market to go to the upside. That's why I was okay with taking the entry over here because we saw that news from this morning from CNBC. Everything was pointing towards the upside, right? Um, like literally everything here was looking good. So let's see what else we got right here. It says breaking news: Trump says China will open up to U.S. businesses, suspend trade barriers. So what Trump just said right now. Like this is all good news. This is all good news, but you can see the market here isn't really. I mean, it's reacting to it, but not as much as we would expect. Right, price is pushing back up, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if it pushes up, bounces off, comes back down. Yeah, market reactions to these breaking news they're not as prevalent as they were before. Like usually if Trump would say something, like he said something like this during his first presidency, you would see price spike up like 100 points, right? Or if you just post something on Twitter, price would go up like 100 points. Um, yeah, it's weird. It seems like people are just not reacting to Trump anymore. Like whether it be retail traders or hedge funds or anything like that. Like you can see here, Trump is speaking, the ATR is still at 27. This is a low ATR for a heavy news day. Today's a pretty heavy news day. There's tariff news, there's a lot of stuff going on right here. You know, all the news that came out over the weekend. It's just choppiness. See if there's any more updates here. So oil jumps more than 3% on hopes that US-China deal will spark economic rebound. So you can see it's justifying everything I just mentioned, right? Everything is indicated to go up. Oils is forecasted to go up. The indexes are forecasted to go up. Everything is forecasted to go up. But I mean, there's just nothing here that's happening. Yeah, Glenn said price still hovering over Asia high. Yeah, the Asia high was right here. It's kind of just sitting around that area. Let's see, Sam said, I think the move happened on London Open. Well, the thing is, it happened right on market open. So when market opened over here, that's when the initial spike happened. So the news with the UK and stuff happened right here initially on the open. See the big push right here? So this is where market closed on Friday and it ended up pushing up or opening like, 500 points higher. So the move actually happened right here on open of market and then went sideways. And then when the London market opened up, that's when the London traders ended up pushing it up higher. So it happened immediately on open. And then over here, it pushed up even higher during London because everyone kind of piggybacked off that ride. And then price retraced over here. But I was saying, like, I think price is going to push up more because this news is even more recent. So this, everything that Trump is saying right now, this is just happening right now. It's not like a reiteration. It's new news. So like we didn't know about this yet, where Trump says China will open up to US businesses and suspend trade barriers. This stuff is new news. So I was expecting price to, kind of move up higher from there. Not doesn't have to move a crazy amount, but more than where it moved up here because it didn't really move up very much. And again, right there, it's respecting the upper range, like enough to break out of the range at least. Not like I'm not expecting like a 500 point spike, but enough to break out of here and continue climbing up higher. But it looks like Trump can't even break us out of this range here. So, I mean, it is what it is. This is the market that we're currently in. This is kind of similar to a summer market. It's a little bit slower. So the thing with the summer market and with this type of market is you have to really wait for price to break out of this area and climb up higher. So exactly what Sam was saying earlier, he's looking for a break and retest off this level up here. That's really what you have to wait for. You don't really want to trade within this lower area or this middle area right here. You, for the most part, want to trade out here or trade out here. Because if you trade within this middle area here, it's easy for you to get faked out. It doesn't matter what direction you're trading, if you're taking buys or sells, because in a ranging market, you don't really have a direction. You're kind of taking a risk every time you enter a trade. Yeah, Stern said I can't remember us US Open at 1,000 points. Yeah, I mean that's is that how much it moved up during London? Because I mean it did push up during London. Let me measure it. I didn't see how many points it pushed up. So this was London Open. I mean, it still pushed up about like 400 points. So, US Open. So the US Open was about like 500 points, I think. Yeah, it was about 500 points. And then the London Open was like 400 points. It's about 500 too. So about 1,000 points total. And then it pushed up a little higher here as it continued on. Let's see, it's Longy City. I think it was at the all-time high too, and constantly going up during his first term. It was so fun with sentiment. Yeah, like that time when Trump was president the first year, we were able to follow retail sentiment, right? I think that was like that was a tool that we used a lot for our confluences. Like now we use market profile, um but when Trump was first president, we used retail sentiment because we would just do the opposite of everybody else, right? If everybody was chasing a trade in a certain direction, we would just do the opposite direction. That doesn't, it's not as efficient anymore because the retail sentiment just isn't really provided as much. And I think a lot of people understood how the retail sentiment works, so that obviously that type of analysis just didn't work as much. So, but it was interesting how like we could just trade the opposite of retail sentiment back then. Shivam said, I'm out for today. Took that one loss. Going to do some back testing on previous losses for learning. Catch you tomorrow. Yeah, definitely, Shivam. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Yeah, there just wasn't really much of a setup today. I mean, there's nothing, no setups here in general. If you look around, everything is pretty much respecting the range. So whenever price gets to this upper range, comes back down. Price gets this lower range, comes right back up. So I don't think much is going to happen until we really break out of this range. So like again, like what Sam is looking for, I wouldn't really take anything unless we get down here or if we take up here. I wouldn't mess with this area down the middle. Like again, right here, price is at this lower range. It's rejecting off it. I wouldn't be surprised if it pushes right back up. It's just the market we're in right now, guys. Um, Market's tricky, and the best thing you can do is really just reduce the amount of risk that you have in the market, right? I think that's like the biggest thing that anybody could really do. There's not really too much to do. It's really just trying to preserve as much as you can. All right, we got price breaking below. Let's see if it actually breaks below or if it stays in that range. So we got price below. There's two things that can happen here. Price is either going to fake out and pull back into the range, or it's going to continue lower. As you can see right here, it looks like it's faking out, pulling right back up. All right, we got price pulling back into the range. Nothing new there. It's pretty much what we expected. Yeah, there's nothing to work with here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, I mean, this is just the type market that we're currently in right now, guys. There's nothing to take. There's nothing to I mean, there's not really much to look at here. Price again is faking out, so it's doing exactly what we mentioned, right? Fake out right here below the range and back into this into the middle range right here. So not too much. We're kind of just waiting again for price to get out of this area. Again, like I said, I'm waiting for price to push above or below, right? Above or below down here. Not really looking to take anything down this middle area because you can get stopped out either direction for a buy or a sell. There he goes. Price comes back and retests the lower area or tries to retest it. All right. All right. So we got price again right here below the range. Sam said, I'm glad you're saving us from taking bad trades, bro. Thanks for the stream. Otherwise, it gets very boring trading alone. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. There's a lot of bad opportunities here. Like, like you said, there's a lot of traps here where a lot of people are getting caught up. Like, for example, right here again, price is below the range. This is an easy area for people to get trapped for a sell because I'm sure people are trying to hop into the sell here. Um, Not that it won't play out, but you can see every other time a sell came up right here, fake out, fake out, fake out. There's a lot of times that losses could have been eaten right there. So it looks like price is finally going down to the sweep that you were looking at earlier, Sam. It's not quite there yet, but if price does get to this point, like you said, it may sweep it and then pull back into the range. Oh yeah, so there was actually an MPSV2 here. I didn't even bother looking at it. But Daniel said finally MPSV2 that hit today. It was at sessions though, just pointing it out, didn't take it. Yeah, there was an MPSV2 that finally came up here. Obviously not one I would take, but yeah, sell signal right here, retracement continuation right here off this red candle. It was at the session, so obviously red flag, but it did hit right there. So I mean, I wouldn't take it because it was at the range, but nonetheless, it did hit right there. So we had a couple MPSV2s that came up today. The first one we took over here that lost. Um, and then I don't think there was any more entries after that. So this one here we took lost. This one over here, there was no entry for this buy signal. Nothing here for the sell signal. Nothing for the buy signal. Nothing for the sell signal. Nothing for the buy signal. And then one right here. So you guys can see, if you're playing the numbers game and you're taking every single MPSV2, they're hitting. It's just you have to eat the losses and recoup on the wins. But it's just, I mean, it's not a risk that I would take. Okay, so liquidity grab right there that you were looking for. It looks like it hit, Sam. Um, so we're finally out of the range. That's a good sign. So I said earlier, if you were looking for some entries, wait for it to break out of this back and forth range here, and then wait for it to either break below here or wait for it to break above here. Right? It's broken below, so at this point, there are opportunities there. And we'll see. We'll see and I'll follow, but just the opportunities are slim. All right, there's still nothing here right now. The MPSV2 already came up here, so there's not really much to take. I mean, one thing that you can possibly look for is an A++ setup. We have a sell signal here. The sellers are in control from up here. See, this is where I'm kind of like, I feel like this is all manipulation because everything Trump said was positive. So we got Powell speaking now.
In a thoughtful, effective way, we're going to be able to get the pharmaceutical industry whole. Those jobs will still be here, will still be productive, will still.
That's not Powell. I thought that was Powell. It's Dr. Oz. Kind of looks like Powell. I was like, Powell looks different. That's definitely not Powell. It's Dr. Oz. He looks like Powell with like plastic surgery, basically. I was like, his face looks a little different. Okay, so it's Dr. Oz. I mean, this is crazy. This is what we've come to, guys. Dr. Oz is now basically giving statements on. That's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in, right? Because if you guys have been like, if you guys know Dr. Oz, he's known for like pushing a lot of like bad info. And now he's here, giving these statements about like, I don't know. It's just it's such a crazy, like, it's crazy who's in control right now, right? Trump, Elon, Dr. Oz, RFK. There's these people that you would never expect to be in control and like in the US and here they are. It's crazy. All right, anyways, I don't know. I was expecting price to go up. Price is coming down right here. So we're finally out of the range. Price is coming down below. We'll see if another setup comes up here. I'll mark it up for you guys if it does come up. Yeah, there's just nothing here right now.
Development efforts for drug companies around the world by the higher prices that we pay.
They're just talking about cutting drug prices now. There's not really anything else that's happening. Let's see if there's any breaking news here. Nah, not really. We just got price coming down, knocking out all the liquidity. Let's see. Solange said, I haven't seen Powell and Trump in the same room since the shit talking. Yeah, I know. Powell and Trump don't get along, so I would never expect him to be in the same room. Unless it's something serious. Like during COVID, that was like required. They had to be in the same room because they were announcing at the same time. But other than that, I highly doubt it. I just wouldn't expect it. So looks like we got the liquidity graph from this lower level liquidity. Let me just clean these levels up right here. Looks like price grab liquidity there. Have an engulfing candle push back to the upside. We'll see if we get an MPSV2 to the upside here. Possible buy signal as it reverses back up. Daniel said, just realized with Barack's backtesting, didn't it say no trades before 6:45? So that was like the initial rule, but what happened, like over the past couple of months is that like a lot of entries came up before that, or like there was like, solid entries that happened before that. So yeah, I mean, if that's the case, you might just wait a little longer for the entries. Because before I used to wait like the first, 10, 15, 20 minutes before I started looking for entries, but that was mainly because the volatility was super high. But yeah, you're right, Daniel. That was one of his very first rules that we had. That was actually a rule that I implemented because I saw that the market was kind of choppy and kind of crazy on open. Um, yeah, and if we follow that rule, this trade here would have been avoided. The only thing is like this trade here like set up as a really good setup. So I think even if that was a rule, I think there would be a lot of gray area because there was like I think 4 or 5, maybe 6 confluences on this setup right here. We had the setups on like pretty much all of the market profiles, um, volume profile, clean chart, and support and resistance. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about 5 confluences there. The market's just always changing, guys. So like when the market changes like that, it's really about just adapting to the market. Yeah. And again, it looks like we might have to adapt to it to like where we don't take these earlier entries because of the choppiness, or don't take entries around the range. So tomorrow I'm going to mark up the range before market opens up. I'll try to see if there's anything that we can kind of pull away from that, but it seems like that's the type of market that we're currently in right now. Let's see, Sam said structure turned bearish. It'll only go up so people can sell it according to me. Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, the sweep didn't happen like Sam said. It kind of broke through it. Let's see what we got here. So in that case, I'd be looking for a buy signal for a retracement confirmation and then a continuation back down. Basically head and shoulders. So shoulder, head, shoulder, continuation to the downside. Say price is flat. We'll see if it ends up moving at all, but it looks like market price is pretty much flat right there. It's gonna sit there, it looks like. All right, so we're getting some consolidation range down here. Again, I mean, this is kind of what's been happening. So we had an upper range right here. Price broke below. Lower range right here now. So what it looks like is price is just ranging, it's breaking out, and it's pushing into the other range, basically. So it looks like we're just gonna get another range here on this point. I mean, it is what it is. Not really much here to work with, fortunately. Yeah, this thing is, I mean, the market's like completely dead right now. You guys can see there's like nothing going on here now. If there's any questions you guys have, feel free to hop in the chat. There's just nothing to take here. I mean, there's nothing to really it's not a good time to trade. If you guys are looking to trade, I would just sit out. This is a good day to just conserve capital, I'd say. There's just nothing here to work with. I mean, I wish there was something to take, but from what I see here, it's just looks like it's going to establish a new consolidation area. Let's see. Sam said if Trump says something positive, technically coincident. Let's see. Is he still speaking? All right, so Trump is speaking
I have a
again.
lot of respect for the leadership and for the leader to talk. And I think they knew about it because they buy Boeings, they buy a lot of Boeings. And they knew about it, and they said, we would like to do something, and if we can get a 747 as a contribution to our Defense Department, to use during a couple of years while they're building the other ones, I think that was,
Man, I could never listen to Trump. Whenever Trump has anything to say, I feel like he's just like kind of making stuff up off the top of his head. Like just listening to what he said right there about Qatar.
we spend on those planes to keep them tippy.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna give them a plane while they build planes because they need planes right now. Like, all right. I just like to, I don't like listening to Trump speak live. I like to just see the the articles after because then they make more sense. Whenever you listen to Trump speak, it doesn't really make sense. He's kind of like repeating a lot of stuff over and over again. So I'll wait until CNBC reports something, but they're basically giving updates over here with as he speaks, where it's like understandable. Maybe that's why people aren't trading because they don't understand what Trump is trying to say. Um, Price is going back up though. So what it looks like here is looks like price might be pushing right back up into the upper range. So we'll see if your analysis here still plays through, Sam, because I know your analysis earlier, you said you were still looking for sells. If price was to push up, you said it's only enough for people to sell back down. So we'll see if that's the case because right here, price hasn't reached the range yet. But if this here ends up turning and it comes back down, then you could be right. So, or if it doesn't, then it might push into this range up here and just stay up here back again where it was earlier. I'm kind of glad I was able to squeeze out that first trade and then just kind of be done with it because now it's just it's just a lot of noise at this point. All right, so we got price kind of pushing up to the upper range. We'll see if it pulls into the range or it bounces off and comes back down. Possibility either way. All right, so price is just sitting there. It's not pushing above it. It's not pushing into it. It's just sitting right there at that lower range. So I guess this will kind of be like, this will be the threshold. If price pushes above it, then it'll probably stay within that range. If it bounces off and comes back down, then it might pull back to this lower. So there's two things that may happen here. This might establish a new range. So I'll just draw a box right here. There could be a possible, so it's like, so there's a lower range right here. It's either going to cut into that upper range or it's going to bounce off and come back down to this lower range here. So there you go, as it pulls back into that upper range. So it looks like just a huge fake out. Price was in this range earlier. You can see from this morning. So basically from 3 o'clock this morning, this range was established. Price came back and forth, came below, faked out, and then shot right back into the range. So it doesn't look like price is coming back down, Sam. Looks like price is just back into that upper range. I don't think Trump said anything that really caused price to go up like that. He's still speaking.
As well as president for one seat.
Okay, so they're doing Q&A now. They are doing Q&A right there. All right, so we're back to where we started, guys. It's like that drop earlier, like never really happened because we're back to where we were. Gosh, yeah. So Sam, unfortunately, Sam's sells that he was looking for didn't play out. It's all good. Sam's done for the day too. You know, it just goes back to what we were saying earlier, Sam. It's just not a good market to trade in today, right? Like Sam doesn't trade our strategies. He trades his own like break and retest or liquidity sweeps, and his trades aren't hitting. So like that just goes to show like our trades are kind of not coming up. His trades aren't hitting. I don't know if anybody else's trades are like doing really well today. Unless you're trading a ranging strategy, I think for the most part, you're probably not going to be hitting today. You might be getting faked out. You might be getting caught in the range. You might be getting caught in spikes. I mean, it's not a good day to trade today, guys. So if you don't have to trade, I would probably just sit out the market. I mean, if you want to trade, feel free to trade, but I'm glad I took my one loss and I was just done for the day. Because if I kept trading here, you know, like I said earlier, if I keep trading or if you keep trading, that's usually how accountants get blown, right? Eat my loss for the day. For me, I only allow myself one loss. That prevents me from revenge trading, prevents me from over trading. Yeah, I mean, it's just the type of market that we're currently in. Solange said early news just messed up all price action today. Yeah. So, you know, like I said earlier, we had a lot of news over the weekend. That's why I was looking for a buy here because buys are just, that was where price should have went, right? Market over here opened up like about 500 points. London opened up about 500 points. I was like, okay, New York's probably going to open up a bit too, but it really didn't. New York here just kind of consolidated for pretty much the entire session. So it ranged and consolidated right here for like basically pre-market up until market open. We had this big drop right here and then correction right back up. Yeah. Sam said, yeah, that's where his sell trade was, where it came back down. Yeah, price pretty much came back to open. Came back to open and it came right back down. Yeah, it's all good. There's an MPS V2 that just came up right here, guys. It was right at the sessions, but it is an inch right there if anybody was looking to take that. I'll just mark it up. I'm not in this position. I mean, there's red flags there. I was touching the sessions, that purple line, and it's got to have to push past the opening price right there too. It's just a bunch of red flags. So we'll follow it, but again, I'm not in the position. It's just not something that I'm willing to risk, of course. So the trade's still running. There's nothing else really coming up right now, so I don't have anything to take or anything to really look at. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, we will continue to wait for next opportunity. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much here to work with anyways. The MPS V2 is currently running in profit. 751 right now. I think this is going to be the last entry we'll be covering for today. Once this hits, I'll just get off to the live session. Looks like it's about to hit right there. It's on its way up. Needs to get past that opening price. So from looking at the market today, it looks like a lot of the later entries are hitting. The earlier entries, you're kind of getting caught in the chop here and the messiness of the price action. But it looks like the later entries here hit or are hitting, right? So like this one over here hit, this one over here is about to hit, of course. Yeah, and this is probably what's so I think moving forward, we might have to just wait until later in the session for entries. Because the earlier ones were getting caught in the chop a lot of the ranging movements. But these over here are starting to play through like towards the end of the session. Ben is asking, what is the suggested contract size for the 50K account? What's the max drawdown on that? Let me check. So max drawdown, real quick. Creative 2,500. So 2,500. It depends on like how risky you want to be, Ben. So like if you want to be kind of conservative, you can do it divided by 4. Or if you want to be a little more risky, like if you're willing to take that bigger risk, you can do it by 3. So for me, because I'm like more inclined to take riskier trades, I think 833 per day would be the risk. If you want to be a little more conservative, you can do 625. So let's just do the math here. Take profit. So you should be using about between a 4 or 5 contract size. So if you want to be a little more conservative, not super conservative, but a little bit more, you can do 4 contracts. If you want to do with a 30-30 TP stop loss, right? If you want to be a little riskier, you can go up by 1 contract. So between 4 and 5 is where you want to be. All right, so full TP right there, guys. If you guys took that nice work, I didn't take it. Of course, it was at a red flag. It was right at the sessions, and then it had to cut through the opening price. But just by looking at this here, as you guys can see, it's a little bit better if we wait until later in the session. So I think for the next couple for the rest of this week, we'll probably look for entries later in the session. Monday is usually a good benchmark for like how the week's going to play through. What I can see here is that the entries that come up later in the session are actually hitting a lot better than they would earlier in the session. So today was just a feeler day for the market. Unfortunately, we got caught in the chop earlier in the session. Right here, price is still within the range, but this trade did hit within the range here. So, all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Let's see, last thing from Sam. Yeah, Sam said it's all good. Sometimes it's better to accept being wrong and move on. And if it drops from here, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah, I don't think it's going to drop, Sam. I think this is the correction that we were looking for earlier. Well, not the correction, but the bullish move that we were looking at from earlier. Because the thing is, all the news from today was pretty much positive, right? If you look at CNBC, everything that was posted today was pretty positive. With the drug prices getting cut, with the UK deal, with the China deal, everything is bullish for the market. So with this here, I'm expecting this to continue climbing up higher from where it's currently at. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. Otherwise, we'll just play by week. I will play week by week, day by day. We can't really predict what the next week's going to unfold. Like, for example, this week we're expecting a directional move. We didn't get that directional move on Monday. Might get it later this week, but we do have some high impact news. It's inflation week. So tomorrow we have CPI news. Thursday we have PPI news. Yeah, Wednesday gas stock change as usual. And Friday we have Michigan consumer sentiment. So a lot of inflation news this week. Today was just a little choppy, a little back and forth. Tomorrow's it should be more directional, but I mean, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And I'll try to draw up the range before market opens up tomorrow, so we have a better idea of like where market structure is sitting. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.